In the second semifinal matchup, we have Wolf Madslinky playing Galatia and TGR Obelix playing Tylis. So as we start this Galatia vs. Tylis game, I'd like to say that I'm really excited for this matchup. TGR Obelix and Wolf Madslinky have both played extremely well in this tournament thus far, had some really nice matches, and really made quite a good showing for themselves. This game looks like Wolf Madslinky is going to be playing on Galatia in Alexandria at nighttime, bringing about as meta a build as you could possibly bring. I literally never see any other builds from Galatia. It's always this, basically. It's 6 Galatian Swords, 6 Galatian Legionnaires, 2 Levy Freemen, 2 Mercenary Cappadocian Cavalry, 1 Noble Horse, and 2 Mercenary Syrian Archers. Very, very common to see this build. It's probably the best Galatian build, and that's why you see it so often. 12 swords, very potent, has some cavalry power, has some skirmish power with the Mercenary Syrian Archers. We'll see TGR Obelix's build in a couple seconds here as he comes out of the woods, but one thing he's done so far is he has 2 raiding horsemen that have been trying to harass. They actually only have, I believe, 1 kill apiece at the moment, and that's actually kind of an issue because in this hot desert that he's in right now, even though it is nighttime, they are going to get morale penalties for being in a night battle, and they're also already exhausted, and barbarian units tire very quickly in desert conditions. So we'll see if that plays a factor as we start this battle. So a main line of Celtic warriors running up the center and an Oathsworn line behind that. We've seen that from TGR Obelix on this map before. Looks like the Noble Horse from Madslinky are going to charge right up the center, do a lot of damage to the Celtic warriors, and then probably pull out pretty soon here. And it looks like he's just committing all these Celtic warriors. And what he did in the last battle, when he was playing against, or earlier in the tournament, he basically had a main line of Celtic warriors engage first, blunt the charge of the enemy, and then follow up with the Oathsworn. But at the moment, the Oathsworn are all staying back and have not committed to a fight yet. And isolated like this, the Celtic warriors are going to get kind of destroyed, to be honest. Like, they really aren't going to be able to... They might be able to go toe-to-toe with the Galatian swords, but as soon as the Galatian Legionnaires commit to melee combat, they're going to have a really bad time. As some Mercenary Cappadocian Cavalry charge into these Thracian warriors, they'll probably pull out pretty soon here as well. That was actually a questionable move from him. Thracian warrior is really good versus cavalry, actually. I mean, they can get destroyed by charges, but there were some Oathsworn and some levies backing them up, so they threw their javelins and he lost a lot of Cappadocians there. But in the center, Noble Horse up to 21 kills. The Celtic warrior main line is faltering, as we kind of expected to see. See, I think that these Oathsworn, all of the Oathsworn should be following up into combat after this main charge of Celtic warriors. I know that he likes the strategy, and I think it works really well if you follow up right afterwards with the Oathsworn as soon as the Celtic warrior line breaks. But at the moment, again, a lot of those Oathsworn units haven't moved yet. One of them has been committed, and they got a huge charge bonus here in the Galatian Swords. Shouldn't have any trouble winning that fight. But in the center, Celtic warriors have routed, and the Oathsworn have not engaged yet. So looks like Wolf Madslinky is moving some of his Galatian Legionnaires out to the flanks, trying to get some better angles in for attack, and in the main line, Celtic warriors breaking. And over on this side, some Cappadocians and some Levy Freemen engaging in melee. And those Cappadocians are probably going to die pretty soon here, down to 16 men. A Noble Horse not actually doing anything at the moment. We'll see if he gets them under control. He just did. That's good. Oathsworn committing to melee, and this one over here should be able to do a lot of damage because it's locked in melee combat with the Galatian Sword. Although, to be honest, his main line, TGR Obelix's main line is... A lot of these units are kind of isolated from each other. Like this one right here, actually probably going to get completely surrounded by Galatian Legionnaires. There's another Oathsworn coming in at the moment, and Noble Horse are free. But at the moment, it looks like a lot of these units still haven't been committed yet. And it seems strange to me from Obelix, because there's no cavalry in a flanking position, but the Levy Freemen are just kind of sitting there. I think that he should move them up, maybe out to his flanks. But anyway, Oathsworn engaged with the Galatian Legionnaires should win that fight. And I believe this is... Where's the general unit? General still hasn't committed, actually. But so far, I think that this has shifted a little bit in Madslinky's favor, just because those Celtic warriors really didn't do very much. But now that the Oathsworn commit to melee combat, I think they could maybe start changing things in his favor. Of course, they will beat Galatian Legionnaires 1v1 in melee combat. And their charge bonuses, which are super important for Oathsworn to get with that 35 charge bonus, we'll see if that pays off. I mean, the Galatian Legionnaires are already down 40 men basically off the charge. So really good job there from the Oathsworn and the general unit. So he's going to pop Battle Rhythm and Headhunt here. And yeah, that Galatian Legionnaire, you're going to see it melt in a couple of seconds here. So as soon as he pops Second Wind, after that, he's going to be in really good shape. Shouldn't lose too many Oathsworn in this fight at all. Madslinky's going to try to counteract that with a shield wall here, but that shouldn't help him out too much, considering how high the melee attack and morale values for this Oathsworn are right now. It's ridiculous. 72 melee attack, 53 weapon damage, and it's getting even higher at this point. 76-61. Yeah, that's gonna rout in a couple seconds here. So really good job there from the general unit. Osworn out on this flank, kind of getting beaten up a little bit. I think it should lose to 2 Galatian Legionnaires, especially if Madslinky's able to pull it out and get a charge into the rear of that. But Osworn in the center cleaned up those Galatian Legionnaires in a couple of seconds. Really good job. Only lost 7 men. And the mercenary Syrian archers are finally going to start making their presence felt a little bit. Not very many kills at the moment, but he's going to start trying to whittle down the Osworn, do some HP damage there. Over here, Galatian Legionnaires tied up with Osworn and Levy Freeman in shield wall. They're isolated. They don't really have any chance of surviving that melee fight. But I think that one of the biggest things here is that Galatia has a lot of, or not a lot of cavalry, but an important cavalry unit here with the noble horse on the field. So if he gets good charge bonuses off on the Osworn and then pulls out and keeps whittling away the general's unit with some of his skirmishers, I think he might be in very good shape. Balance bar is pretty much even at the moment, and the Osworn are tanking and doing a lot, but he's actually going to give this Galatian Legionnaire battle rhythm. We'll see if that actually pays off. I don't think it's going to help them too much, to be honest. They are 1v1 against an Osworn unit, so this Galatian Legionnaire right now is kind of messed up because of the formation attack. I think that he should pull this out and get it into the back of that Osworn. I think that would make this battle go a lot quicker here. But now some Cappadocian cavalry. Full strength unit is free, and this could be the deciding factor right here. There are not a lot of units to counter it. Going to get a good flanking charge into this Osworn unit right here. Very interesting, by the way. I haven't mentioned it yet. Tylis and TGR Obelix didn't bring any tribal warriors to this fight at all. He brought 5 Osworn and 5 or 6 Celtic warriors. No tribals, which are a great mid-tier sword. Match up pretty well versus Galatian Legionnaires. I think it's a very interesting build decision from him. Can't believe it took me that long to actually realize it. He actually did not bring any tribals. You never see that on Tylis. That's crazy. Alright, so Galatian Legionnaires at 60 men, going to get charged by these Osworn, and this should be a free charge bonus if he isn't able to pull out. He is actually pulling away, that's very smart, and trying to tie down these raiding horsemen, but yeah, the Osworn actually didn't get a good charge bonus at all. Over here, Osworn still tanking it out up to 136 kills, but they are not going to win this fight against 2 Galatian Legionnaires. Levy Freeman following up, of course they'll die as well. But in the center here, this is the most important unit. General is still alive for Tylis. And he could, if he can keep this blob tied down and get the Osworn in there, he could do a lot of damage. If he kills, I think whoever loses their general first here might be in a really good shape to win this battle. This is pretty even at the moment, but actually this could be a deciding factor. Mercenary Cappadocians coming in for a rear charge. Very good charge bonus. And Osworn are exhausted, so with that cavalry continuing to charge into them and their fighting effectiveness kind of cut because of their exhaustion, that could end up being a really big issue. Mercenary Syrian archers in the woods, not going to do a lot of damage here, but we'll see if the Osworn will turn their flanks. They're starting to get whittled down actually quite a bit at this point. Still some Osworn left on the field. In terms of raw killing power, I would argue, at least in melee killing power, Tylis still has more on the field, but balance bar is shifting, and I think the cavalry is the biggest thing right now. I believe both generals are still alive. Battle rhythm going to be popped on this Osworn again, and this is a mistake. He's actually turned his flank. 2 mercenary Syrian archers going to be able to shoot into the side, and now he's going to commit to melee combat, but he needs to turn that general unit because they're actually taking a lot of damage now. We lost about 10-15 men in that volley, and they're continuing to get whittled down. So in the center here, looks like he's about to get enveloped. 2 mercenary Syrian archers still shooting in, mostly full strength. And Cappadocians coming in to charge the back of this Osworn. Headhunt activated, just to get a little bit more killing power. That's very useful often against cavalry units, just to get that higher attack damage. Cappadocians can't really stay in melee combat against that, but they don't need to. He can pull out again. Actually, one of the mercenary Syrian archers took a volley from the Osworn. There's actually not a lot. Really, this is the most important unit on the field for Galatia at this point. The killing power from these Osworn might be enough from Obelix, but the balance bar is saying otherwise. Balance bar shifting very much in Galatia's favor at the moment. Headhunt is going to wear off. That's going to be a big problem because they're exhausted. Rear charge, that's going to be a big morale penalty, especially fighting at nighttime. Another battle rhythm popped in the Galatian Legionnaire. Osworn general probably dead at this point. No, not yet, but down to 15 men. They'll rout quickly. They'll rout very, very soon. Galatia in command of this battle at the moment, and there is a almost full-strength Oathsworn, but if the general dies, it won't really matter. They might just rout because the balance bar shifts so far in Galatia's favor. Either way, their killing power is not going to be very much because they are exhausted, and there's the morale penalty kicking in. Really good battle from both players. I think that the cavalry was a big factor for Galatia in that one. 87 kills, 119 kills, 67 kills, but it wasn't so much about the killing as it was the HP damage from those charges from the flanks and from the rear, and he did get some very good hammer and anvils off in that game. The skirmishers didn't do a lot of killing either, but the kills they did get were on the most important unit on the field, which were the Oathsworn. I think it was a mistake for TGR Obelix to turn his flank like that near the end. I think they took a lot more damage than they probably should have if he had been facing, because they were in the woods, which of course is going to diminish the killing power of skirmishers. I think the Oathsworn line was pretty cool. I really do like the strategy, and it has worked for him in the past, so I'm not surprised that he went back to it because it worked so well for him on the exact same map before when he was playing as, I believe, Boei against Arverni. But I think that a follow-up charge from the Oathsworn right after the Celtic Warrior main line routed might have been a little bit better. I still don't know if this is the right use of Celtic Warriors. Obviously, blunting the charge of Galatian Legionnaires and Galatian Swords is important, but it did kind of feel like he sent them as lambs to the slaughter there, and I'm not sure that it was really worth it. Like, I'd still be interested to see the difference if they played that battle 3 or 5 times over. What the difference between sending these guys in first to blunt the charge and just seeing how much killing they can do, and then following up with the Oathsworn, or keeping these guys in reserve to flank and hit other units and let the Oathsworn be the first ones in. I'm not really sure, but I think that would be very interesting to find out. The Raiding Horsemen, I think he just kind of got a little bit too overzealous with them, running them around the map. Their exhaustion actually was probably pretty key. None of them did a lot of damage in that battle at all. Their skirmishing power and their speed was cut down dramatically because he kind of ran them around the map for 7 or 8 minutes, and they were exhausted before the fight actually began. In general, I think Wolf Madslinky played quite well, did a good job with his cavalry, good job with his Galatian Swords in the middle, and then the Galatian Legionnaires just had enough killing power. I wonder if this battle would have been different if Obelix had gone for the normal Tylis build with Tribal Warriors instead of all these Oathsworn. Again, we've seen this work in the past, and I really like the strategy. It is different, and it absolutely can work. And I mean, that was a very close battle. Kills and losses were almost the exact same for both players. But I mean, Tribals are just so cost effective for what they do. I think it probably would have been a better choice, but either way, I think both players honestly played pretty well. Some of the things that I'm saying about what TGR Obelix might have done better, I mean, it worked the first time he did it, so I can't really say that he didn't play it well this game. I think he actually played it exactly how he wanted to in a lot of ways, besides using the Raiding Horsemen a little bit too overzealously. But overall, good battle. Thank you for doing it in the nighttime. Very cinematic to watch for sure. And Madslinky is now 1 game away from advancing to the finals to face Maximus Decimus Meridius. Obelix is going to have to win 2 games here to bring the series back and advance to the finals. So I'm really looking forward to the second game. Hope you guys are too. And I hope you guys are enjoying the tournament as well. Indy Pride signing out.